What's up, people? I am back, finally reviewing a Bruce Lee movie today. Doing Fist of Fury, suggested by my friend Americus. I actually have never seen this one, or if I have, I barely remember it. And this one is really fun. The story is very loose. Like his master is poisoned, and he basically wants revenge. Essentially, it's the movie. And it's it deals with like Japanese imperialism because it's set in like 1910, set in Shanghai, but basically a lot of these old movies were just it's like slasher movies back in the day where the story was there, but it's basically just there just so you can see the kills. It's the same thing here with a lot of old martial arts movies where the story's there, but it's just an excuse to see Bruce Lee, fuck some shit up. And the choreography is really good. Like even for the time, I don't know, something about like those old martial arts movies where the fighting stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I say this a lot. Like, you compare it to like Crouching Tiger or Jet Li's Hero, where it's a bit more stylized. I like those fights, but sometimes it is nice just watching the more realistic ones, and I think that's what we got here. There's just some good fight sequences. So Chen comes back to his to marry his come back to his school, Jingwu School in Shanghai, and to come back to marry his basically his longtime sweetheart Wan, or I think that's Yan. I'm probably butchering her name. And while they're the Japanese students from another school are basically taunting everybody. He comes back because his master died. Initially, it's seen like, oh, he died because he got sick. But then we find out later he was actually poisoned. And it was the Japanese. And he has to try to hold himself back from fighting. And eventually he starts fighting. And when he finds out, it's a really decent story. Like, the story's very simple. It's not a lot, it's not complicated. It's a revenge tale, essentially. And the fucking that end fight scene where I love those old fight scenes in those movies because the way they're set up too, it's almost like a video game in a good way, where it's like levels, right? He works his way up to the final boss kind of thing, because it's also you got like Russian gangs, like Robert Baker is one of them. His fight with him is probably my favorite one throughout the whole movie. Just very well done, and I like the style. It's realistic. It's not over the top. Yeah, very well done show. So I definitely recommend it. I mean, if you just want to see Bruce Lee fuck some shit up for an hour and a half, fuck some shit up, fuck it, I'd recommend it. So it's I don't know if I would put it up there with obviously it's not like Enter the Dragon or Game of Death, but I would even or even The Way of the Dragon. But this one is a decent one. I would probably give this one 8 out of 10. Had fun with it. I thought Chen was a decent character. He had a good arc. You could say he's a one-note character, but it's fine for this movie. These movies, the characters I've always felt like they don't need to be uber complicated. Just kind of keep it simple. So tomorrow, we're going to be getting back into Bond. I'm going to be reviewing From Russia with Love. I haven't watched that one in, my God, it has been such a long time. So it's going to be fun to finally be getting back into these movies. Can't wait till next Tuesday, though, because next Tuesday I'm going to be reviewing probably my favorite Bond movie, Goldfinger. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll be doing Buckaroo Banzai. Thursday, I'll be doing Hellraiser 6. Friday, Shrek Forever After. Saturday, Southern Comfort. And then Sunday, because I'm going to try to see it Friday, we'll see. Or at least on the weekend, we'll see. I am going to be reviewing Cocaine Bear. So that's so far my plans this week for reviews. So, but let's get started on Fist of Fury. Chen arrives because he learns his master has died from a sickness. Like, you think initially that is sickness, but then you realize there's like this. Even though the plot's really simple, they do have like they do touch on like because this was 1900s, so they do touch on like the feud between Japan and China at the time, and I really think they handle that stuff very well. Like, granted, I'll admit the version I watched is on Tubi, so it was dubbed, and I'll admit some of the dubbing wasn't great, which it's understandable. This movie came out in 1972. I can't really complain about the dubbing. It's 1972, so of course the dubbing isn't gonna be the best. So, I can get over it. So he has to basically try to hold himself back from fighting. And yeah, the Japanese basically are just fucking with the Chinese students. And then, like, the movie just kind of goes, because we even get a scene where when he arrives at the school, he kind of takes on some of his other students, which I thought that fight was great. Even though, obviously it was like more of like a training fight, it was still very well done. The head of the Chinese squad, man, I don't really fully remember his name, but he's basically the villain, or one of the villains. I think it's Tien. Just because I was looking at the thing earlier, I think his name is Tien. Actually, just came to me. He basically not punks, but Chen is forced to hold himself back because Tien basically smacks him around and basically trying to piss him off, kind of thing. Which, solid villain. Back then the villains were just simple, not over the top. So. And it turns out like the Japanese are working with the Russian mob, who have their own fighter. He's like the main. He's basically Bruce Lee's like physical opponent in the sense, because Tien's like your smarmy villain. He ends up getting killed though pretty brutally. Especially when I'm just gonna jump ahead a bit. So basically, he's in love, like, because he came back to be with his I don't know if you could. I guess high school sweetheart, if you want to call it that. Yawn, and their relationship is there. Back, like that's not the focus of the movie. So of course it's, a little bit of it is there. I think they have good chemistry, decent enough, and most of the dubbing is fine. It's mainly really Tien's dubbing that I thought was like, okay, this is pretty bad, and some other dubbing wasn't great. But it's fine. Like, I can kind of give that shit a pass. The fighting in general was great from everybody, not just Bruce. Like, but it's just when I watch these movies, or watch like Jet Li movies, or Jackie Chan movies, or Donnie, just any of them, I just am astounded. I'm like, how do they make it look so fucking easy? Like, it's just like, it's just easy for them, or it just looks that way. I mean, it's crazy just how naturally just any of them just move in these movies. But Bruce Lee just, I mean, like, anytime he uses the nunchucks, just any of his fighting stuff, even the other martial artists in this movie were pretty good. Like, were very well done. Like, they had good choreography. But so Chen finds out that his master, I'll just say Ho, because I think it's Huo. Could be. I don't want to butcher, so I'm just gonna say Ho for now. He finds out he's been murdered actually because he was poisoned, so he wants revenge. He gets his hands on Tien and basically convinces him. Well, because he makes him think he killed him, but then he ends up killing him. But so he basically just lets loose and starts attacking the Japanese. And yeah, it's just such a simple story, not complicated, not too much going. Like, I know I've been saying that all, but it's just, it really, a lot of these movies are just a big excuse to fight. And that scene. This is probably my favorite fight in the whole movie, or one of them. Before he confronts Robert Baker later on. But one of my favorite fights is when he takes on the entire Japanese school, and it's like the entire school is just like coming at him, and that's gonna be the thumbnail of this video. Is that it looks so good, and or there's a scene where he stops because he ends on like a kind of like a cart or a carriage. That's a better word. And he like just lifts it. Granted, doesn't look the best, but it still was a fun scene. And then one of the during the fight with the Japanese students, he like just lifts two dudes and just throws them like nothing. It looks really good. Like, it's crazy, the choreography, like especially for the time, because this was 72. So you didn't have crazy choreography like that, but I think they really make it for today. It looks good. I feel like it. I don't know. I like sometimes the more realistic fighting style where it isn't as stylized compared to movies like your Crouching Tigers, which don't get me wrong, I like that, but I like sometimes it's more realistic where it is. I'm not gonna say sloppy looking, but almost it's not as I would say polished. I think that's a good word. It's not as polished and it looks realistic, and Bruce just makes it's polished. He still has it polished though. Like, the choreography is great. So he ends up taking them out. He ends up confronting Robert Baker, and that fight was great. I thought that fight was awesome. That went for a while, and then I love how he tried to do like a submission move, and then fucking immediately Chen just bites him, and it's realistic, and it went for a bit, but yeah, he ends up beating him, and then he confronts I'll admit I don't remember his name, but he looks like the samurai looking dude, and that fight was pretty good. But he ends up winning, and like, I know this review is gonna be a bit shorter, but it's just there's not a lot to this movie. He wanted revenge he wanted to get his get revenge for his master, and he pretty much did. That's kind of basically the movie. Like, yeah, he has like the romance, but basically the whole movie is just him trying to get revenge and protect that school, because he felt like he causes trouble, with the. And I do like throughout the film, like, the other characters, like, that do try to protect him and keep him, because they want the Japanese are trying to force the school to cooperate and give up Chen, and throughout the film they don't. So I thought that was good, and I'll be honest, I thought everyone else had pretty good choreography too, not just Bruce. Like, I thought everyone did a good job in this. It's a solid movie. I would definitely recommend it if you want to just see Bruce Lee do his thing for like an hour and a half. Yeah, the story you're not going to be uber invested in, but it's a decent hour and a half where you can just see Bruce Lee show his shit off. I would definitely watch it. Like I said, don't expect the greatest story ever, but it's a fun movie. So that's pretty much all I can really say. I like it. I had fun with it. It's definitely not my favorite Bruce Lee movie, but I definitely enjoy it. And it's always a pleasure to watch his stuff. So I can't wait to find out what I'm going to review next week. But Fists of Fury, I would give about an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. So tomorrow, From Russia with Love, I can't wait to do that one. I've been wanting to dive back into Bond, so, and yeah, so I can't wait to do that one. So I got that going on tomorrow, but other than that, I am gonna kind of call it here.